A top 20 recruit decommits from USC football. Yeah, it really is time for Quinton Byfield to take that next step for the Kings. And FC Barcelona adds its second LA player to its program in less than a year. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and start for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. Now it is September 2nd, 2023. I'm back on the road in Salt Lake City. Normally these road trips make me very sad, but I can't stop smiling. And I realize this take might not make a lot of you guys happy because it has nothing to do with sports and it's kind of mean. But I'm kind of happy that Jimmy Buffett is gone. I really am. I mean, look, you can talk all this mess on Fox News or whatever about how hip hop and gangster rap is destroying society, but Jimmy Buffett's music helped lead to an obesity epidemic in this country, and I'm going to stand by that. Every song that dude wrote, that bald-headed, khaki shorts wearing guy wrote, was about greasy food, hitting on girls less than half your age, boozing it up, and sleeping on the beach. How does that help society exactly, right? Do you know how many 450-pound dudes that I had to clean and jerk in the hospital to try to get them on a gurney because they listened to Cheeseburger in Paradise and thought that was an actual life coaching lesson? So no, not exactly unhappy that happened. I'm sorry. My own back is going to be happier now that I might not have to lift as many morbidly obese guys who thought that eating cheeseburgers every day, morning, noon, and night was a healthy lifestyle choice. Rest in peace or something. But let's talk sports now that I'm in such a great mood. Hey, tough night for the Dodgers last night. Kolten Wong debuted for the Dodgers with a 3-run home run, but Julio Urias is not in a good place. He has allowed 11 earned runs in his last 2 starts. Atlanta 6, Dodgers 3. Angel City FC edged Kansas City 1-0. Jasmine Spencer scored. Angel City has 4 matches left to try to make the playoffs in the NWSL. Great day ahead for LA sports potentially. Atlanta's facing the Dodgers again at 7. Emmett Sheehan is 3-1 with a 5.63 ERA. Bryce Elder 11-4 with a 3.50 ERA. UCLA debuts today in football, and USC plays its second game. We talked about both of those matches yesterday on our new series, Friday Night Chalk Talk, where we break down all the LA football teams, USC and UCLA. We talked about it. Look for it. We go into more depth. The 6th-ranked Trojans will play Nevada at the Coliseum at 3:30 today. It is going to be, by the way, speaking of things going away for the betterment of society, it is the last USC football game ever on the Pac-12 network. That is great news. We now get to actually watch Trojans football after today. Central Carolina is going to be at UCLA at 7:30 tonight. The Bruins debut their 3-headed monster concept at quarterback. We'll see how that goes. But again, more detail on Friday Night Chalk Talk. Check out the show. Houston is at LA Galaxy at 7:30. Douglas Costa will not play for the G's. He has a dislocated shoulder. So, 4-star safety Anquan Figans, the number 16 prospect for the class of 2025, according to ESPN, has decommitted from the Trojans. Here's the thing, and I want to try to be fair, because unlike Jimmy Buffett, this kid is young and he's allowed to make mistakes, right? Many more mistakes. He said he rushed his decision. And now his parents are telling him, hey, instead, why not go out and enjoy the whole recruiting process? Now, all of that sounds fair. But then he added his decision was, quote, in the moment, for publicity and that kind of stuff, unquote. So I don't have a problem with him. I don't. Despite the fact that I root for USC. He's a kid. Kids change their minds all the time. This is what I have a problem with. Who told the kid to go out and get publicity? Right? Wouldn't it be better for both the kid and, for that matter, the Trojans program to say, okay, you know what, we get it, you are a kid, take a moment, take all the time you need. But somebody told this guy to go out and get the clicks, to go out and set up the stupid lunch table with all the baseball caps on the table and play out that hack joke of picking up a cap like, oh, I'm going to commit to Georgia, and throw it down and then throw on the USC lid. A hacky joke. And by the way, not a big fan of exploiting kids in any sort. This is why I don't even like watching the Little League World Series. I know a team from the LA area won. You didn't hear me talk about it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about minors. I'm a middle-aged man. It's creepy. So who was the creep who tried to exploit the kid? That's my problem. Even worse, like I said, the joke is hack. Now look, Figgins said he might wind up playing for the Trojans anyway. And that's fine. He has an older brother who transferred from Alabama to USC. Great. Maybe he plays for USC, he figures that that's the best decision. But I really just don't like the idea of grown-ass men or women forcing 16, 15, 16-year-olds in front of a camera for clicks. It's creepy. Stop it. 4-star safety Anquan Figgins decommits from USC. The Athletic profiled the wingers of the LA Kings. The team their strength is obviously up the middle. Terrific centers from 1 through 4. The wings aren't bad. Adrian Kempe was their leading goal scorer last year. He cracked 40 goals. That was the first time in decades somebody did that for LA. But you figure 8 wingers, you have 4 centers regularly. That means you have 8 wingers. The depth is not as strong. If you figure 8 wingers, though, should play regularly, whether on the first, second, third, or fourth line, it is disturbing to see that Quinton Byfield was statistically the worst of the 8th. This guy was the former 3rd overall draft pick in the NHL a few years ago. He had 3 goals last year. Kempe 40 plus Byfield 3. Kempe 40 goals, Byfield 22 points total. Now, pundits are saying that his overall game is improving, and it may very well be. But I say 3 goals. 3. What am I supposed to tell you? Oh, he had health problems a couple of years ago. Okay, he did have health problems a couple of years ago. I say 3 goals. This is a problem. Oh, hey, he's playing so much better now that he's alongside Anze Kopitar. But he has 3 goals. What are we talking about here? Now, it's just a guess. The Kings we know are being patient. The question is why? The question is why? Because if Quinton Byfield doesn't develop, every year is yet another problem with a really stacked lineup, not getting out of the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't hate Quinton Byfield. I'm saying it's time to actually put the puck in the bleeping net. The time is now. The development time, no, you've got to at least get 15 to 20 goals this year. For real. None of this 3 to 5 stuff. So you're asking yourself, why are the Kings being so patient? And I'm not as much of a Kings historian as other people are. I love the Kings, but I don't have like a photographic memory of a lot of their rookies. But I do remember one guy named Olli Jokinen. He too was taken in the top 2, top 3 overall. This was back in the mid-90s. He too, like Quinton Byfield, was supposed to be a big, powerful center. But he couldn't score. So what wound up happening? Well, glad you asked. He wound up being traded away, then developed with the next team that he went with and had a fruitful 17-year career as one of the NHL's best 2-line centers. Who played with Jokinen back when Jokinen was a rookie? Kings general manager Rob Blake. So yeah, I'm saying the Kings are looking at this guy saying, well, we don't want to get rid of the next Ole Jokinen. He now may be the elite multi-time all-star that people were hoping for in the NHL draft, but they don't want to get rid of a productive two-way center for the next 17 years either. So I get their fearfulness. I get the fear of missing out. But Quinton Byfield needs to do more than score 3 times in a year. And it has to be right now. LAFC have agreed to loan defenseman Mamadou Fall to FC Barcelona. We mentioned that it was a possibility earlier in the week that they were talking about it. The deal lasts through June with a purchase option, and Fall will immediately report to Barca's B team. I admit I'm skeptical about this being a good idea for both sides. He is considered a terrific prospect, but he was previously sent to Villarreal, and both teams, by the way, are in La Liga, Villarreal and FC Barcelona. He didn't stick with Villarreal. What makes anybody think that it's going to be this terrific turnaround with FC Barcelona? He's now on one of the biggest clubs in the entire world. And to be honest, I actually see why LAFC did it. If they sell the player, they're going to make a lot of money because, by the way, their back line is not bad. Not bad at all. Mamadou Fall was a center back. Who is he going to replace back there? Right? Aaron Long? Giorgio Chiellini? So I don't know how great it's going to be for the player. I don't know how great it's going to be for Barcelona, but it looks like a pretty good move for LAFC, I'll tell you that, especially if they sell him. He is the second Angeleno to go to Barcelona, by the way, in the last year. The first was Julian Araujo of the Galaxy. He went before the MLS season opened. I wish I could explain why the Dodgers excel at drafting and developing catchers. I can't give you an answer for that. But I want to give you another name because we've been talking about Diego Cartaya. We've been talking about Dalton Rushing. Here's a third name to keep an eye on in the minors. Phelan Liranzo. He's currently in Rancho Cucamonga. He's a switch-hitting catcher with 20 home runs in 70 games. This is the opposite of Quinton Byfield, guys. Now, don't get me wrong. He's not a sure thing. The guys that are considered the sure things in the Dodgers system are Cartaya and Rushing. But again, 20 home runs in 78 games. Somebody promote that guy to Tulsa. Now, having said that, even the Dodgers can't miss prospects can have issues. Do you remember a couple of days ago, former Major League Baseball general manager Jim Bowden, who writes for The Athletic, he released his list of top 50 prospects, and Dalton Rushing is on it, but Diego Cartaya is not. So Bowden was asked about it, and he wrote another column about the players who dropped out of the top 50. Bowden once called Cartaya baseball's third best prospect. Third best, and now drops out of the top 50. The problem, according to Bowden, is hamstring injuries, which has limited his playing time. And because his playing time has been limited, Cartaya has yet to acclimate himself to AA. So he is stalled. He's probably going to wind up returning to Tulsa next year as a result. We mentioned Sheehan is pitching tonight. He was recalled from AAA Oklahoma City. The Dodgers have also sent down infielder Yanni Hernandez to Oklahoma City, but that was to make room for Colton Wong. Roster has expanded up to 40 if you want for the rest of the season. The Rams, oddly enough, are not the youngest team in the NFL. I was unaware of that. I thought it was a guaranteed. Oh, they're young. Don't get me wrong. Their average age is 25.7 years. But who's younger? The Green Bay Packers. Yeah. All they had to do was cut Aaron Rodgers, send him to New York. Bingo. They're the youngest team in the NFL at 25.5 years. I mean, good Lord, Aaron Rodgers is like the Jimmy Buffett of the NFL. They had no choice. I get it. How many more months does Rodgers have left under center? He's not the same guy he was back then. If If Aaron Rodgers were any older, we would start confusing him for Mitch McConnell. By the way, the Rams have granted 14 rookie spots on the 53-man roster, by the way. So get ready for a bumpy ride, guys. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about USC recruiting and if it's a good idea to have young men, 14, 15-year-old players, getting publicity during their recruiting process. Talk to me about the Kings winger situation with Quinton Byfield. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day, and not music. But thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.